Hey anglers, thanks for tuning in to the In Deep on the Delta December 3rd, 2020 Delta Bass Report. So you can see we have beautiful conditions out here. It's almost kind of ridiculous. We'll start off with what's going on with water temps and clarity and all that. It's been around 51, 52 in the morning if you get out really early. When you have a day like this in the shallows, it may warm up to 54. I've even seen 55, but it's kind of fluctuating in that low to mid 50s, and it's dropping a little bit daily. So it won't be long before we're right at that 50-degree level, and it's going to stay there, and fishing is going to continue to get tougher and tougher, at least for largemouth bass. Now the clarity has been varying, sometimes day by day, where you're at. If we get a little rain or we get a little wind, obviously the clarity drops a little bit. But what I have seen is if you're around the channel, maybe in the sloughs just a little ways, your clarity is a little less because of boat traffic, wave action, and you're looking at about normal delta conditions of about 4 to 6 foot visibility. Now when you get back in the sloughs, it's a whole different ball game. Unless we've had some wind, which we haven't had, I'm seeing an easy 8 to 10 visibility and really closer to 10 to 12 foot visibility. So conditions are what they are. It's nice, it's beautiful out here. The fishing this week, we have some varied reports, and we'll get right into the report. We'll start with the hook, line, and sinker report, and their report was pretty sparse, especially for largemouth bass. Not a whole lot of people fished for them this week. I guess they were taking Thanksgiving week off, but the fish that were being caught were on the small side, out around Big Break in there, and just really grinding. So the largemouth bass report from out on the, I guess we call it the West Delta, is not really good this week. Now stripers, again, they were slow, but the good news for the striped bass guys is that there are some fish coming into Grizzly Island and out in Rio Vista. They're a better class of fish, and everyone that has been out there that has caught a few has been saying that they are a nice fresh fish. So we're going to have some fresh fish coming into the system, and that may be good for you striped bass fishermen. Now we'll get on to the report from Outdoor Sportsman, and they had actually a little better report this week. Stripers were slow, but they're out there and people are catching them. Their report is to look for the birds, which we don't have any out around here, but I guess the bass have been pretty, the striped bass have been pretty aggressively pushing bait towards the surface. So where you see seagulls and looking for bait, there's probably not only bait under them, but fish under them. They've also been getting them out in the Central Delta jigging. When they find the schools of bass, they're spooning them. Also trolling. All methods they're catching it, not really fast. But the bite from Outdoor Sportsman says the striped bass have been on an upswing. Now the largemouth bass also on an upswing. Not a lot of people fishing for them. They're getting some reports of around Paradise, White Slough in that area, of bigger fish, and mostly kind of flipping, punching type stuff, and crawdad color has been the ticket for the bass. And that's the report from both Hook, Line, and Sinker in Oakley and Outdoor Sportsman in Stockton. Hey guys, I'm back at home for my part of the report. Having a little technical difficulties out on the water today, so I came back home to do my part of the report. And I had a really great Thanksgiving. The fishing was actually really good. I got to fish 4 days, and I fished 2 days with my son Nathan. That was Friday after Thanksgiving and Sunday, and then I went out again on Tuesday and Wednesday, which is today. So let's start with our Friday report. Nate and I wanted to go out and throw some wake baits for stripers, and that's how we started our day, but the conditions were just absolutely flat, calm, nothing going on. So we fished about 2 to 3 hours and not a bite. We decided to switch over to largemouth. We started fishing at low tide, and we were moving around looking for fish, not having a whole lot of luck. As the tide started moving a little bit, we decided to make a change, and we were fishing within, let's say, a quarter mile of the channel. We started fishing docks, and that was the key. we found the fish that were around structure were just more willing to bite. So what we were looking for was docks with pilings in them. If the dock had some hyacinth around it, it was even better. We were punching the hyacinth and getting fish. You can actually, 2 days ago I uploaded a video, and I think it's called Thanksgiving weekend fishing. You'll see Nate and I fishing Sunday, and you'll be able to see just what we were doing and how we were catching all the fish. So tune into that on In Deep in the Delta if you want to see the video for that day. Anyhow, Friday we found the pattern of the dock fishing, and we found that the farther in we skipped under docks, or the closer we were to the hydrilla or punching it, the better our fishing was. We primarily used worms, 5-inch worms, stick worms, 5-inch Cinco, cut tail worms. We fished some robo worms, nothing fancy. The trick was to just get them in the water and just dead stick them so slow that you got tired of doing it. We also found that using scent definitely helped. I have been changing out from summer to wintertime fishing, so I've changed out my leaders. I've extended my leaders from my braid. I'm using about 10 to 12 feet of fluorocarbon, and I'm using 10 and 12 pound test fluorocarbon leader. Making long cast when necessary, doing everything it takes to fish in this kind of cleaner water. The fish are a little bit spooky. So anyhow, we'll get back to what we were doing. We were fishing very slow, soaking the baits for a long time. The bites were super soft. A lot of times you're just there, and when you go to make contact with the bait, the fish was there. We set the hook, and again, if you watch the video that I uploaded, you'll see exactly how we were catching these fish. So that was our day for fishing Friday and Sunday. My days Tuesday and Wednesday. Today I kind of left the docks alone. I wanted to search around a little bit and give you guys an idea of what I've been doing and just looking for the fish. So instead of fishing the channel and near the channel, I went down the sloughs and fished probably a mile to 2 miles into the sloughs. So probably right around midsection of the sloughs. I'm fishing within 3 to 4 miles of Paradise Point. Water was super clear. Again, I knew that we were going to have to be soaking the bait, so I had that kind of in my back pocket, knowing that I was going to have to slow down. Well, I found a bunch of fish, and again, they were in hydrilla lanes where the lanes had some soft bottom where you could almost sand, or you could see clamshells down there, and the fish were just using these lanes. So what I had to do to catch fish yesterday and today was to go out, and any fish that was within 6 feet of depth in the water was just extremely hard to catch. They were just gone. You raise your arm and the fish were very finicky. So what I did was start fishing 8 to 12 feet of water, and I would find those lanes in the hydrilla, and I could physically see fish moving around him. Now, the fish that I could see, I couldn't catch. I pulled my boat off into about 10 feet of water, fishing parallel with the bank, making super long casts, primarily with wacky rig worms or Nico rigs, letting them get to the bottom and just soaking them. Using a lot of, we were using smelly jelly in craw scent, or I was using, both Nathan and I, when we fished Friday and Sunday, were using a lot of scent, and I continued doing that during my fishing on Tuesday and Wednesday. So letting it sit down there and just barely keeping contact with that bait, and sometimes you just lift up, the fish was there, you set the hook on him. I did really well with fish 2.5 to 3.5 pounds, primarily same type of fishing that we had on the weekend. My only complaint was I was seeing a lot of 6 and 7 pound fish, and I just cannot get those fish to bite. Now here's the deal with that. And after talking to Outdoor Sportsman, we were kind of comparing notes, and a lot of the bigger fish that have been coming in have been thin. And I really believe that we're catching, the bigger fish that are being caught are post-spawn. These are the fish that are those late spawners that spawn in September, and they've spawned out, and they're in post-spawn situation. They're just starting to get active again, and they're just starting to take baits. That fish that Nate caught had a mouth like that and a body like that. It should have been 7.5 or 8 pounds easy. I believe that fish was a spawned out fish. I have also got reports from outdoor sportsmen that some of the bigger fish kind of look that same. They're long and thin, like they're spawned out. I think that's what's happening. So I'm hoping that maybe the post-spawn bite, these big females will start actually coming on to the bite here in the next couple weeks. As long as the sun stays out, we may have another shot at some really good fishing for big fish. Again, those post-spawn females may get active and start feeding up for winter. Anyhow, the 2 to 3 pound fish, 3.5 pound fish, they are absolutely in great shape. They're beautiful fish, they're hard fighting, and they're a lot of fun to catch. So that's my report. If I am going to be fishing around the channel, I'd be looking for docks and fishing them as close to fishing your worms and probably jigs as close to the docks as you can. If you're going back into the sloughs, extend your cast, fish on the bottom. Again, fish super slow. Make sure you're using scent and just gut it out, and you'll get some fish. With that, I'd like to just give you an update on the channel. For those of you who've been watching my YouTube channel, In Deep on the Delta, thanks so much for watching. The channel's growing rapidly, and I'm starting to have trouble keeping up with all the replies. So if you've been replying and I haven't gotten back to you, don't worry, I'll catch up to you in a day or two, and I want to thank all you guys for watching. I have been posting 2 videos a week, the report and 1 informational video. I'm going to remain posting once a week with the reports, and my informational videos will be starting to post every 2 weeks. It's not that I want to just let everyone know, it's not that I'm getting tired of doing the videos or I'm running out of ideas. It's just that I want to keep the videos fresh and the content fresh. I don't want to talk about springtime fishing conditions or fishing summertime in the middle of the winter. So the videos that will be coming up will be dealing with fishing winter conditions and cold water conditions. And I'm also going to be doing a lot of talking about strategies for locating fish. I know a lot of you, especially the newer fishermen out there, say, man, I'm having a really hard time finding fish. How do you find them? You know, it's such a big place. And the truth is, fish are all over. You just have to find the fish that are going to bite. So what I'm finding is most people are saying, hey, you know, we got a good bag of tricks, we have our baits, we know our techniques, but our bag of locations isn't so good. So I'm going to really be focusing on trying to share with you some information that I use to make finding fish a little more efficiently, a little quicker, and that's really the key. How fast you can get in between those bites. When your bite dies, how fast you can find another location. So I'll be focusing on that, and hopefully everybody's going to continue watching. Last but not least, I'm going to ask all of you to send me a picture of your best Delta catch towards the end of the year. I will be compiling all these pictures, and we'll put them together in a montage or whatever the heck they call it, and I'll make a video, and after the first of the year I'll post the video. This is your chance for bragging rights. Okay, so you want to send those pictures to scooper9561032@gmail.com, and again, send the picture, your name, the weight of the fish, and if you want to send the bait that you caught it on, that would be great too, and we'll post all that stuff. It can be a largemouth bass, could be a striper, could be a sturgeon, whatever your best catch was on the Delta. Send those things in. So with that, that's the report. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Be tuned in for the weekly reports and a bi-weekly informational video throughout the winter, starting in starting in probably pre-spawn, maybe February, March in there, I may be posting more and more as conditions change quicker and quicker. Wintertime conditions, I think we're going to get into a pattern right now where it's going to be kind of Groundhog Day every week. Keep watching, you never know what's going to go on. And again, thanks for watching. Go out and catch some fish, and we'll see you guys on the water.